Please help us by clicking the like and subscribe button. Thank you, guys.
Here are Thailand's top headlines. Thailand's Prime Minister has pushed back the introduction of a 300 baht entry fee for international tourists arriving in the kingdom. Since the test and go, sandbox, and other entry restrictions were dropped on May 1st, Thailand has experienced a surge in international arrivals. If tourism levels continue to climb and significantly improve national income this year, it might not be necessary to introduce the entry fee yet, according to Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. However, the Tourist Ministry has earlier suggested the fee could be introduced in August or September this year. But a tourist tax, arrival or departure tax is nothing new. The surcharges have been added from time to time in the past, and tourist taxes of up to 500 baht have been levied in the not-so-distant past of Thai tourism. Introducing a Thailand tourism fee, or TTF, is not as simple as it sounds. If airlines include the surcharge as part of their airfare, they will have to find a way of exempting Thai nationals, government officials, diplomats, foreigners with work permits, and children under the age of 2, according to guidelines set by Thailand's Tourism and Sports Ministry. If you're a foreign retiree or married to a Thai but don't hold a work permit, you might still need to pay the fee upon entry to Thailand, even if you don't consider yourself a tourist. Government spokesperson Thanakorn Wangbunkongchana said the extra cash would act as tourist insurance and help pay for medical bills in the event that a tourist got into an accident, which is a common occurrence. Authorities in Bangkok are preparing to shift gears in their COVID-19 strategy to an endemic phase as the Thai Public Health Ministry acknowledges a steep drop in infections and deaths. According to a Nation Thailand report, Kietiphum Wongrachit from the Health Ministry says the vaccine rollout, coupled with home isolation programs and outpatient schemes, has contributed to the significant improvement in the capital's COVID-19 situation. Before Songkran, there were predictions thought that daily cases of COVID would exceed 100,000 infections. The daily numbers headed in the opposite direction instead and have been under 10,000 for 3 days now. Daily deaths are also trending swiftly downward. Nearly all Bangkok residents have now received 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine, with around 60% of residents having had at least 1 booster shot. Kietiphum says that this high vaccination rate means the capital is ready to manage COVID-19 as an endemic illness. The Health Ministry is now working with various Bangkok agencies on a gradual easing of COVID-19 restrictions. During the move to endemic, the focus will remain on managing high-risk areas such as pubs, bars, public transport, and public parks, with Kietiphum expressing hope that the shift to endemic will be smooth. If Thailand's PM Prayut Chan-o-cha fails to hold his position as Prime Minister, there might be a substitute Prime Minister. That's according to Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan. However, PM Prayut said he hasn't heard anything about a potential stand-in for his post. PM Prayut's position could be undermined in an upcoming censure debate in Parliament brought about by opposing political parties, opening up the opportunity for a substitute PM to step in. The no-confidence debate, expected to take place sometime after May 22nd, will discuss whether PM Prayut is still deemed fit to hold his premiership. Even if prime ministers political supported in the coalition are reportedly not happy that PM Prayut keeps refusing to reshuffle the cabinet and promote them into better positions. More than a dozen MPs from Prayut's ruling party, Palang Pracharat, have left the party and set up the Sethakit Thai, or Thai Economic Party. PM Prayut's position could be at risk if Sethakit Thai MPs or MPs from other coalition parties choose to vote against him in the debate. Secretary General of Sethakit Thai, Thamanat Promphao, who was expelled from PM Prayut's party in January, allegedly demanded 2 seats in the cabinet in return for supporting the government. He will be wanting his political pound of flesh after being undermined by Prayut. PM Prayut, Deputy PM Prawit, and Thamanat used to have amicable relations before Thamanat challenged PM Prayut's power in a no-confidence vote last year. Prawit has constantly mentioned Thamanat, fracturing his long-standing relationship with the PM. Sethakit Thai MPs now describe Prawit as the best candidate for the premiership. The Tourism Authority of Thailand, or TAT, have suggested its latest scheme to hotels called the We Travel Together Hotel Subsidy Scheme, in which suggests that hotels could offer a 50% discount for an additional 1 million room nights. TAT Governor Yuttasak Supasorn's plan for the remaining 4 billion baht budget for the We Travel Together scheme to be used for a 40% subsidy on 1 million room nights, and asked hotels to add another 1 million rooms to this program, adding that cooperation from hotels was important to stimulate domestic trips without solely depending on a government budget, particularly when this market was being challenged by growing outbound demand driven by easier travel rules. However, not many hoteliers were in agreement with the suggestion. The president of the Thai Hotels Association said most hotels have already reduced their room rates by 50%. With a limited budget, she said the government should instead offer a 20% subsidy instead of a 40% to cover 2 million room nights. The acting president of the Chonburi Tourism Council chimed in, adding that hoteliers might be reluctant to add their rooms to this program because of the delayed payments for participants, stating that even though this problem has been rectified recently, some hotels in Pattaya had to wait since December to get paid. Moreover, mid-level hotels are concerned about feedbacks, as local tourists using the privileges usually opted for 5-star hotels or international chains in prime locations.
Transferring money overseas? Sick and tired of the insane charges? Well, there's a new product to solve that problem. Try D-Money on your next international money transfer with the best rates and no added costs. Go to dmoney.com.
A Japanese businessman had died in a motorbike accident on a mountain in Chiang Rai province, northern Thailand yesterday. His 10-year-old daughter is seriously injured and is being treated at Masai Hospital. Yesterday, 52-year-old Shimizu Maseki was taking his 10-year-old daughter up to a mountain in Chiang Rai province when he is thought to have lost control and come off the road. Siam Ruamchai Rescue Unit discovered Shimizu's body in the grass and found his seriously injured 10-year-old daughter lying near him, who was urgently taken to receive treatment at Masai Hospital. Details of the child's injuries are unknown. The incident happened between Phongam Subdistrict and Wiang Pamkham Subdistrict in Masai District, Chiang Rai Province. Maseki was a managing director of a private asset management company in Pathumwan District in Bangkok. Maseki's wife is from Masai District in Chiang Rai. Police collected evidence at the scene and are interviewing eyewitnesses to determine the cause of the accident. Elsewhere in the world, COVID-19 cases have decreased significantly in Vietnam in recent weeks. On Tuesday, Vietnam reported 0 deaths from COVID-19 for the first time since July 25th last year, according to the Health Ministry. Vietnam's one-strict entry requirements have mostly been dropped in an effort to boost the country's weakened economy. No COVID-19 deaths were reported in Vietnam on Tuesday, and the country saw 2,709 new infections that day. Most cases are concentrated in Hanoi, Phu Tho, and Dien Bai. When Vietnam closed its borders in March 2020, the country enforced some of the strictest travel regulations in the world. For much of 2021, only Vietnamese citizens, students, and workers with specific special skills were permitted entry into Vietnam. Now that COVID-19 cases are declining and most of the population are vaccinated, Vietnam has eased its entry restrictions in a bid to revive its struggling economy. The Supreme Court in military-ruled Myanmar on Wednesday struck down an appeal from deposed leader Aung San Suu Kyi against a 5-year jail sentence she was handed last week on corruption charges. Aung San Suu Kyi had previously been found guilty last week in the first of 11 corruption cases brought against her. Suu Kyi had been under house arrest on charges ranging from corruption to treason, potentially carrying a combined sentence of 190 years. The Supreme Court's dismissal further diminishes any chances of a political comeback for the longtime symbol of resistance against the junta. The Chinese capital Beijing shut dozens of metro stations and bus routes yesterday in its campaign to stop the spread of COVID-19 and avoid the fate of Shanghai, where millions of residents have been under strict lockdown for more than a month. The capital will extend other COVID-19 curbs beyond the May Day holiday, including closures of entertainment venues and gyms, as hidden community-level transmission has been discovered through screenings. The authorities will continue to cap people flows at public venues at 50%, and restaurants will continue suspending dining in. Beijing will, however, cut the time that people have to stay in quarantine facilities when they arrive in the city from overseas to 10 days. Such people currently have to stay in a quarantine facility in the capital for at least 14 days. They will still need to isolate at home for 7 days after quarantine. New evidence has emerged that China's uncompromising battle against the coronavirus, first reported in the market in the city of Wuhan in late 2019, is undermining its growth and hurting the international companies invested there. The capital shut more than 50 subway stations, about 50% of the network, and 158 bus routes, service providers said. Most of the suspended stations and routes are in the Shaoyang district, the epicenter of Beijing's outbreak. The city of 22 million people has closed schools as well as some businesses and residential buildings in high-risk areas, and many people are stocking up in case a full lockdown does come.
Please help us by clicking the like and subscribe button. Thank you, guys.
Good Morning Thailand gets up to 80,000 viewers per week, and we'd like to weaponise our audience for you.
That's right. So if you have a business or property or even your house that you'd like to sell,
Private yacht?
yeah, we could be in space.
I'm not sure about space.
Well, all you have to do is contact us on info@thethaiger.com, and you can hire us up to a day or even a week, and we'll go to your property and do the show live.
Good Morning Thailand, coming your way.